Did I look surprised? Ooh. Okay, I'm going to put this in front of you so you can see what's happening also. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the live stream. So Jet and I get this question a lot of every single time we live stream, we get the what is the best airsoft gun question, or what airsoft gun should I buy? Literally every time we live stream or make a post or anything. So we are going to talk today about how to pick your first airsoft gun, what to look for, what you should be buying, etc. And so if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. We'll both be watching the comments and we'll try to get to you as fast as we can. Sorry, you have a bunch of ads. To start off, I just want to say that I guess there is no best airsoft gun. It's kind of what's best for you. And that's something that you really need to take into consideration. So I recommend essentially buying your airsoft gun based around where you're going to be playing. So I recommend that before you buy your airsoft gun that you rent or borrow one from someone. So that way you can kind of get a feel for what you like and what you don't like, especially based off of where you think you may be playing. If you're going to be playing outdoors, then you're obviously going to want something with a little more range. If you're going to be playing indoors, you're going to be wanting something more compact. The main thing that I would say for don'ts for your first airsoft gun is don't buy a sniper rifle.
I mean, if you are, you need to be very patient.
Yeah.
I always say that, and then like 1 in 5 people will be like, actually, my first sniper rifle was a bolt action of some sort.
Yeah.
Like, oh. And it's funny because like they're not holding a bolt action when I'm talking to them. So obviously they definitely switched over to an AEG, but just know if you're going to do a bolt action, just have a lot of patience because
it's really that is as basically the hardest platform that you can start on, because even if you've been playing airsoft for a while, like Jet, whenever he goes to bolt action sniping, he always gets really frustrated because obviously it takes a lot of hits for someone usually to call their hits. Not always, but that can be the case that if you don't hit them the first time, even if you do hit them the first time, they might not call it because by the time it hits them, it will be kind of light or
it's lost all.
Shrug it.
It's lost all, like the BB will lose power over distance, hence why everyone uses heavier BBs. Other things too is like, did it bounce off of something at that distance? One thing that a lot of people do too, or happens to a lot of people, is they
closer.
Fire,
sorry, everyone.
They fire the BB and then they kind of lose the BB, or they think the BB is gone somewhere else. I don't know. I was having a sniper battle this weekend with a bunch of people, and the one guy was like, it was just in his head that he hit either me or the guy next to me in the head, and the both of us were like, I mean, I didn't get hit in the head. I don't know about the other guy, but he was just so adamant about it, and it was like, man.
Yeah. It's just a really, really difficult platform to start on.
Mm-hmm.
My other piece of advice for your very first airsoft gun is don't buy a pistol, because that's what I bought at first, because I was like, oh, this is going to be something that is, first of all, I'm going to buy a pistol because it's low cost. And then you go to play airsoft and you're like, oh man, playing with just a pistol is kind of hard when you're really new to airsoft. So a pistol is good for if you're going to be shooting in your backyard. I personally don't recommend it for a first-time airsoft gun just because you have limited ammo. You're going to have to buy a bunch of green gas or CO2 for your pistol, which is okay. But like, if you're using just a pistol on a field and you're playing on one of those fields that has like 45-minute to an hour to 2-hour games, you're going to have to either be carrying around a lot of mags, or you're going to have to be carrying around a lot of CO2 or green gas, and that's just going to weigh you down. And also, you're not going to have a lot of range. So I think a pistol is a good buy for your second purchase, maybe not your first purchase.
Yeah, and you're coming from like a pure, what's the word I'm looking for? Just for a pure like convenience factor of like getting into airsoft.
Yes.
So while yeah, you might, I don't know, maybe you really want that pistol, and like you're thinking like, oh no, I want to get a pistol no matter what. Like we're just saying like when it comes to like the easiest way to just pick up your airsoft gun and go play, an AEG is the best way to go about it. Like you get the AEG, slap in the high cap, charge the battery, borrow your friend's battery because you forgot your battery.
Yeah.
And then just that's it. You're ready to go. Like there's so many other weird like other things that also need to happen for some of these other guns. And like handgun, there's a lot more going on. And if you've never used a handgun in your life and have only been going off of like YouTube, you should kind of know like 80%, but there's still like another 20% that might not be like read in the put in the manual or like outright known to people. Like hop up, like at first hearing that, if you've never played airsoft, like you have no idea what hop up is, let alone how are you going to find it in your handgun if you don't even know how to disassemble your handgun.
Somebody asked in the comments, what does AEG stand for? AEG is shorthand for automatic electric gun, and that's going to be most airsoft guns that you can buy right now. They're either gas blowback, which people shorthand as GBB, or HPA, which is high pressure air, or it's going to be an AEG. So we recommend buying an AEG. So you want an electric airsoft gun, mainly just for convenience. So that's going to be way easier for you and everyone else around you because you're going to be learning and you're going to need help. And so an AEG is the perfect gun to buy starting off, just because that's also a gun that people will also have a lot of extra supplies or batteries for. So if you buy a gas blowback gun or an HPA gun, there's a lot more that you have to learn with both of those platforms, and there's not going to be as much support for you. And so that's why we're recommending buying an electric gun to start off. And with that, I'll go ahead and say that I know this will probably get some hate from some people, but I also recommend for your very first platform buying an M4. A lot of people say, oh my gosh, just another M4. But again, the reason that I say buy an M4 is because, again, there's going to be a lot more support for that platform than there is for any other platform. It's going to be a lot easier to get mags. It's going to be a lot easier to have gear that is compatible. It's going to be a lot easier to have accessories that go with it. And again, if anything breaks or anything like that and you need help, most people around you are also going to have M4, so they'll be able to help you out, let you borrow mags, or help you with your gun fixing it if you need help fixing it. Just more people are going to know about it, and so it's just going to make your life a lot easier. Any comments, questions, concerns?
No, not yet.
The other platform that there's a decent amount of support for is AK, but then AK platforms are kind of hard to find batteries for. And some AKs have proprietary mags. Proprietary mags are mags that only work in certain guns. So like, for instance, G&G makes an AK that you can only use G&G AK mags with. And again, if you're a new player and something goes wrong, or if you need to borrow a mag, nobody else's mags is going to work in your gun. And so that's, again, why I recommend just getting an M4, because you know it's going to be basically compatible with everything and everyone else that's on the field. Okay, let's go in, see if I can find some questions. Do you have any recommendations for good brands starting out? Or, oh, I know. Why don't we talk about how we'll get to questions next, but the next most important thing that we need to touch on is don't buy super cheap for your first airsoft gun. So I know a lot of people want to buy cheap because they're like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. That's why I'm saying rent or borrow before you buy, because you want to buy something that's decent quality. Usually, I would say decent quality is going to put you right around the 200 mark, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but it's going to be right around $200. And that is going to ensure that you don't buy a gun and it automatically breaks. If you're buying a rifle that's in the $100 range, so like low 100 or below, the chances of that being a decent rifle or a decent airsoft gun for you to play with and be dependable are really, really slim. And that's probably going to end up breaking in the first month, 2 months, 3 months. And then you're going to have to buy a new gun anyway. So just go ahead and spend the money up front for a decent gun, because otherwise you're going to end up spending that money later on down the road, either upgrading or whatever, buying a...
I think the one exception to the rule of $100 guns are SEMA AKs.
Yes, but those are like 150, right? Ish. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 SEMA AKs that are right around the $100 mark. And SEMA AKs, normally you can't go wrong.
It has to be the AK though.
Yeah.
The debate is still raging on if the M4s are good or not.
Yeah.
The ones that I've handled so far have not been good. And I've had some other people be like, yeah, I've got the SEMA Platinum M4 and it's the greatest AEG I've ever owned. Like, what? Are we talking about the same company?
Yeah. Like Jet said, SEMA is a good brand for AKs only at the $100 mark.
Elite Force is a great brand for M4s, and they've got a ton to choose from.
Yes.
Crytek also.
Yes. So Elite Force, Crytek. G&G has some decent entry-level guns. I recommend staying away from the all plastic bodies because they're just usually not as durable and they're more likely to break. So if that is another one. Some entry-level guns come with all plastic bodies, including plastic rails or polymer rails. And
I don't get the polymer rails.
Yeah. It may be lighter, but it's just not. Just avoid it if you can. Avoid it whenever possible. What was Bacon Boy 123 boy asked, what was y'all's first AEG? Jet's first AEG has a great story.
Oh, am I going to tell mine first?
Yeah, go for it. I've been talking a lot, so.
Okay. It's your stream.
Yeah.
My first AEG was a classic Army M16A2. So the A2, because it had the plastic handguards. It didn't have rails, which was a bummer. Or did it?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I'll have to look back into photos. But it was. I bought that gun specifically because I wanted a long-barreled M4. And then I just wanted a long barrel M4 because I wanted to do a Black Hawk Down loadout like everybody else in the early 2000s. Black kit and everything. So the first time I took it out to the field, the hop-up was broken. And I was so mad because I had read up about like airsoft and how they work and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, this is the hop-up for my gun. If I do this, the BB will do this. Oh my goodness, it's broken. And I was pretty mad. I was pretty mad.
Why don't you explain what the hop-up is for anybody that is trying to get into airsoft and doesn't already know what a hop-up is or what the function of it is?
I'm not even sure if I can explain this very well right now. The hop-up is a small unit inside the gun that puts basically top spin or back spin, whatever you want to call it, on the BB, so that way it travels further. Because airsoft is a smooth bore barrel, so there's no unlike a real gun which has rifling, there's no spin to this ball bearing. That's actually what BB stands for. So if we didn't have the hop up, all of our BBs would shoot 50 feet and go straight into the ground. Because of the hop up and the back spin or top spin, whatever you want to call it, spin on the BB, it's able to go at a slight curve up and then droop back down, giving it more distance and a little bit more accuracy compared to like other shooting sports like paintball.
So if you're hop up, there's like a little dial and it depends on where it is on the airsoft gun, but usually you can pull the charging handle back and adjust it where the dust cover is. Usually that's where it is, but it does vary from airsoft gun to airsoft gun. If your hop up is turned all the way down, then your BB is just going to come out of your airsoft gun and go bloop. And if your hop up is turned all the way up, your BB is going to come out of your airsoft gun and go boom into the air. So you want to find kind of that happy medium, and you'll see your BB take this little trajectory. When it's just right, you'll see your BB take this little trajectory where it goes like this, and it goes up a little bit, and then it goes back down slowly. And that's how you know that you have the perfect hop up adjustment. That was something that I definitely had to learn when I first started playing. Like the very first game I played, I had no idea what a hop up was, and I was just shooting and had no idea where my BB was going or even how to get it where I wanted it to go, other than pointing and shooting. So hop up is definitely something that you want to know about, and it's definitely something that you want to adjust right out of the gate with your airsoft gun. So as soon as you take your airsoft gun out, you get on the field, you want to shoot for distance. So you will aim your airsoft gun at something like a dark target, so that way you can see your BB, and make sure it's somewhere in the distance, and that's where you will adjust your hop up, either up or down, depending on if your BB needs to go further or if it needs to drop sooner. All right, let's see. What are other questions?
You want to get into the style of your airsoft? Oh, we already covered that because you said it before.
Yeah. There is, I guess it also depends on, so we can go from styles of airsoft gun. Either you want stubby or long, depending on what kind of player you are. We usually recommend that you don't buy an airsoft gun that is like as tall as you are.
Especially if you're shorter.
And the problem with that is because, especially if you're new to airsoft, if you have a really long gun, you're a lot more likely to get it like bang it on doors or bang it on yourself or on someone else. So you want to know that you have really good control and full control of your airsoft gun, and you can wield it and manipulate it without being clumsy and hitting people. I know that there have been times like when I first started playing airsoft and I was running with my airsoft gun and I would like go through a door and I would bang it on either like I would bang the buttstock on the door or the barrel on the door, which is bad because then you can bend your barrel and then your BBs are not going to shoot straight at all.
Or just straight up break your gun.
Yeah. Or you'll straight up break your gun. I see there's a lot of people in the comments giving examples of what they think are good first-time airsoft guns. That's great. I like to hear everybody else's experiences because as much as we would like to have tried and used every single airsoft gun in the world, that's just not realistic or possible. So it's always great to hear you guys' experiences with other airsoft guns and how they worked for you, I guess. Flanker Jack asks, can we get an update on Battle for Los Angeles? It will be my first event experience. Woo!
I mean, the only update is April. Like, it was unfortunate that we had to postpone the game. That kind of came out of the blue, and I don't know. I feel like I was sideswiped by that whole ordeal because I was so set on having that game, and we had a bunch of stuff planned that was gonna just make the game even nicer. Like as an example, I was trying to get even more food trucks this time, and we were gonna have a quote unquote shuttle service for the AO. So the way that would work is like we noticed last year we had so many players, and the AO is fairly big, and it's an urban area, which is nice. So there's already roads and grids and everywhere, all over the place. And we were just going to have a 7 or 5 ton drive around the AO, picking up players, taking them to designated drop-off points. But like the drop-off points would be like the staging area, the TSS spawn, the ERT spawn. So that way you weren't just endlessly walking everywhere. Like while, okay, that's part of...
Well, that's still going to happen too, right?
Yeah.
Just so you know.
It's still, it's still all going to happen. It's just... I'm just bummed because I had all that that's it. I'm just bummed. Bummed.
Battle for Los Angeles is like one of our favorite events of the year because it's really big. Georgia Air Force Base is really fun to play at. For those of you that are coming, or if you're planning on coming, the one thing that I really recommend, and this is for really anybody playing Airsoft too, is have a battery pack. You're going to need a battery pack for your phone if you are going to be using the app, which we highly, highly, highly recommend because that is part of the whole experience is using the Blue Fox Tracker app, and your phone will die. It runs off of Google Maps, and so it will last on your phone, drain your phone just about as fast as Google Maps drains your phone whenever you're driving somewhere. So just keep that in mind. You're going to need a battery pack and a way to plug it in order to keep your phone charged. So that way you always know what the objective is. Going back to that, some more advice for first-time Airsoft players. Always make sure you have a couple of batteries for your gun because you will inevitably forget them at some point. Your battery may die out of the blue. Or you will... I don't know. Your battery will die or someone else will forget their battery and you'll need to lend a battery out. I don't know how many times.
That's the more likely situation.
Yeah. I don't know how many times we've forgotten batteries and borrowed batteries or lent batteries out.
I've been lending batteries out and not getting them. I'm missing I'm either missing or can't find. I don't know. I cannot find my Titan Power 3000 milliamp battery. Like I have a feeling it's in a gun, but I'm not sure. But I just like that. I just want to find that battery because it's 3000 milliamps. That's so much energy.
It's probably in a gun bag somewhere or in a gun somewhere, since you have a bad habit of not taking your batteries out. That's the other thing. Make sure to take your batteries out of your gun whenever you're done using them. And then if you need batteries, the best batteries on the market for your airsoft gun are going to be Titan Power, and that is they are lithium-ion batteries, and they will work. They have all different sizes of them and powers. I would recommend if you're first starting out in airsoft to get a 7.4 volt because the 11.1s can burn out motors on some guns, especially if they are lower power guns or maybe entry-level guns is what I should be saying. So get a 7.4 volt Titan Power battery. Titan Power is just the best because those batteries last for days. I think
it's the chemical makeup of the lithium-ion battery. It doesn't puff like a lithium polymer when it gets low. It holds more memory and it doesn't degrade as fast as a LiPo over time, which is like, it's just the best thing because that's probably the one of the things that you'll end up buying a lot of if you're not careful with your batteries, like me. Like back before lithium ion, I would just run my LiPo until I could squeeze the very last shot out of it, and and then by that time now the chemical reaction inside the battery has caused it to just puff up like a giant marshmallow, and so it's like, okay, well this battery is pretty much ruined. Time to buy another LiPo battery, and then just repeat the cycle. So with my lithium-ion
Yeah.
ones, like I can shoot that last bit of energy out, but my battery's not gonna puff up and get ruined like it would, like a LiPo would.
Yeah, they're just not overall. Also, they're just not as dangerous. LiPo batteries are.
Oh yeah, that's a good point too.
LiPo batteries are known for catching on fire or exploding, and so that's why we're trying to get people more away from LiPo batteries, just because they're more dangerous overall. You can burn your house down, you can burn your car down,
I've had a LiPo fire in this house.
Yes. If you talk to any longtime airsoft player, I bet they have a story about a LiPo battery catching fire or catching fire or exploding on a gun. Yeah. I'm sure almost anyone that you talk to that's been playing airsoft for a long time will have a story like that.
Yeah, Titan Power lithium-ion. Way to go.
Bacon Boy has asked a bunch of times again. Don't worry, we see your comments, guys. You don't have to ask them 4,800 times. I do appreciate your consistency, though. Bacon Boy was asking what our first airsoft pistol was. Mine was a high kappa that was fun to use. I didn't know anything about airsoft guns at the time. But then I got it and was like, oh man, this is so huge for my little hands.
I forget what the manufacturer of my first handgun was.
I forget mine too.
It was it was one of the ones that it was one of the brands that was only available through Jungle Toy. But again, like that was back when Jungle Toy was like the only store you could go to get airsoft guns. But it was a USB Compact 45, and the whole thing was plastic, which was terrible because it had a single weak point on the front of the slide. So I went through like 2 or 3 of those because the slide kept breaking from the action of the blowback. And then what did I get after that? I don't even remember what I got after that. I think I just went without a handgun for a while.
Yeah, I don't use handguns a lot. I said in the chat that I got that high kappa, and I think I didn't even have it a year, and I dropped it on the ground and it like split. Like the slide and the pistol grip and everything, like the whole gun just kind of like cracked all the way down. So then I just was like, well, I use my M4 all the time anyway, it doesn't matter. And then I didn't get another pistol again until I think I got like a 1911 or a P09. I went a long time without having hardly any pistols at all, just because I don't use them that often.
Yeah. In case anyone's wondering, recommendations for a good starter pistol: the Elite Force Glocks, the deluxe model in particular, the G17 with the CO2 magazine. Man, that gun shoots so well with the CO2 magazine. And then fun thing that I found messing with Josh's brother's Glock is that the CO2 magazines fit in the 18, and then you could shoot full auto even faster.
So that means how soon until you break your Glock?
Real soon. Luckily, everyone's out of stock of the Elite Force CO2 mags right now, or else my 18C would have exploded 2 weekends ago, probably.
Yeah. I would recommend for like a first-time pistol of getting the Elite Force 1911, just because it's only like $100.
And it's totally metal too.
Yeah, so and like, it's full metal, and it will last forever. That's why, and they have really good customer service around it, because that pistol has been out for so long. They have so many parts for it that if anything does happen to it, you can contact Elite Force, and usually they'll be able to send you a replacement, or they'll be able to fix it for you really easy. And so that's the other thing for me. When you're buying your first airsoft gun, you want to make sure that it's going to be a good gun out of the box. It's going to last for a long time, but it's also going to have great customer service with it. And that may be depending on if you get it online. That's something you're really going to have to research before you buy, because when you buy online, it's just much harder to get customer service. It's going to be more on you to get everything done. Whereas if you shop local and you buy from a local store, then you can usually just take it in and they'll fix it like that day or the next day for you, and you'll have it back the same week. If you buy online, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get your gun back in a timely manner. You're probably looking at like a month at least of time before you get it back, because you have to ship it there. Someone in their tech department that's dealing with like hundreds of guns is going to have to fix it, and then they're going to have to ship it back, which is going to be another week. So it's just going to take a lot of time. Hey, Jet and Leah, what do you think are good starting guns in World War II theater? Woo.
I wouldn't even begin to know. I actually, I wish there were more World War II games, because then we could have the answer to this question.
Mm-hmm. I have not had good experience with World War II guns.
My S&T PPSH performed well.
That's a decent one.
It has electric blowback, which was awesome, but then the electric blowback function broke or has become disabled in some way. And then I got an A&K STG 44. I forget which 44 or STG 44, what brand that gun is. Anyway, I went through two of them. The first one just like stopped firing. I'm not even sure why, because I just took it back. And then the second one, the handguard slips off, which like takes the whole front end of the gun off. Like, yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good quality World War II guns that I know of. If you guys know of any, go ahead and put those in the comments. But I've had the same experience. The only two World War, I used a PPSH and it worked pretty well for me. Again, like Jet said, the electric blowback on it is likely to break, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work anymore. It just doesn't have electric blowback anymore, which is kind of the fun of it.
Yep.
But at least it still works. The other World War II era guns that I've gotten have like immediately broken. So that's one that you definitely want to buy local, because you're going to need help fixing it.
I mean, if you can even find it local, I'm sure the only place you're going to find it is online.
Yeah, well, I mean, locally, you can always go into your airsoft store and place an order for something, and they'll get it for you. That's what I would recommend rather than buying it online, especially with like niche guns like that. If you can find a local airsoft store, go to it and place an order through them. Sure, you may have to wait longer, but at least you're going to be getting customer service on it, and you're going to need customer service on it. Because like Jet said, we have not had a lot of luck with
World War II era guns.
Somebody said the G&G MG42.
It's freaking better for like $1,800.
Yeah. That one is good, but it also costs like almost $2,000. So I don't know if you're going to be buying that for your first time gun.
And if you are, I want to be your friend.
St. Biff asked, are competition series guns any good? I think it depends on
your competition.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Or maybe the brand. I don't know. Some companies have what they call competition guns that are going to be like their
higher end, and then like it's like some of them it's like, oh yes, it's the competition higher end, and then some it's like competition middle range or low,
or it's like the entry, it's like their super budget guns, and that's why they're calling it competition. So it depends on brand, really. With anything for buying your first airsoft gun, I just definitely recommend doing some sort of research. There's lots and lots of videos on YouTube. Jet does a lot of unboxings. Airsoftology does a lot of gun reviews. Airsoft Mike?
Oh, yeah. Airsoft Mike is a good one.
He's a really good one, too. He does a lot of gun reviews. Who else does gun reviews Prevention does gun reviews, but they're just funny. If you want to know if you want to know what not to buy, go watch Prevention's channel, because he opens and uses like the absolute worst guns on the market. So if you are thinking of that, maybe just search the gun you're thinking of buying and search it on Prevention's channel, and if it comes up, it's probably not going to be great.
Yeah. I mean, like, explore my channel, explore Leah's channel. I've been doing this for a long time, so yeah, there's tons of guns. Like, somebody asked me yesterday on social media about, like, oh, are you ever going to make an MP9 video? Like, well, let me just send you this link from 4 years ago. Here you are. Yes.
So for a lot of things, a lot of that information is out there. You just have to find it. YouTube is probably going to be your best bet.
Definitely is.
Just because elsewhere, if it's on a blog, it's probably like a paid for write-up. There's not a lot of blogs that operate not on a monetary basis. That can be the case on YouTube as well, but it's not as common. Usually on YouTube, people are going to be a little more balanced, not always. You can always go back through people's prior videos, and you can kind of figure out whether or not they are just saying whatever they need to say to keep getting free airsoft guns, or if they are being genuine about their review. It's pretty easy to tell just by watching a few videos.
So I put Brain Exploder as another channel. That is an excellent channel.
Yes, he's got a lot of knowledge, and he has a lot of upgrade stuff on his channel too.
Yeah.
So he's another great channel to watch. If you don't already watch Brain Exploder, go subscribe to him. He also makes a lot of accessories for camera mounts too. So yeah, if you're not watching Brain Exploder, you're missing out.
Yeah, if you're trying to be an aspiring airsoft YouTuber, you definitely want to look at Brain Explorer's shop.
Yes. Operator 46 asks, what are y'all's favorite uniform patterns? I think it depends on our mood. And it depends on where you're playing.
Environment.
Yes. So if you are buying a uniform for the first time, I recommend just going to, you can actually get really cheap gear now online that's brand new. I would also recommend checking out a surplus shop, because that's where everybody gets their first gear. That's where I got my first gear.
If you don't care about how Gucci you look on the field, go to a surplus store. If you want to have the built-in knee pads and the rated, you want the combat shirt with the Velcro to put patches on, Evic has those full sets now for like $100 something.
Yeah, they're the Matrix combat uniforms. That have, and they're relatively affordable. Like Jet said, $100, which is way better than like Cry, which is $200 to $300 per item, top and bottom. So you're looking at $500 to $600.
Yeah, and
just for a pants and a shirt.
I personally am not that impressed with Cry. That's
always ripping.
That Cry, that tan Cry shirt that I got, I got a hole in it like one of the first weeks I played Airsoft, and I was like, what? This is like a $200 shirt. Like, all right, whatever.
Man, almost every time I play Airsoft, I hear somebody going, "Oh, not my Cry."
Oh yeah. It was because the crotches got blown out. That was the number one problem with Cries, and it's not so much of a problem anymore. But like, I don't know. I like for the purposes of playing Airsoft in your Airsoft costume and wanting to look cool, the stuff at Evic is good. It's good enough for that.
I would say probably all-time favorite camo pattern is going to be a Woodland, though, just because that's a classic look. It looks good. It's one that has been used from the 80s all the way, or before, I don't know, 70s.
I don't even know when.
I don't know when it started.
At least the 90s, because the Army was all Woodland in the 90s.
Yeah, but it has been used for decades and decades and decades, and it will continue to be used for decades and decades, just because it's a purely classic look, and it works well in woodland environments. Imagine that.
Yeah, I don't think I have a favorite pattern. I actually lately have been gravitating more of just wearing solid colors.
Brick Z of the Dead asks, Cry or UF Pro? I'm trying to decide for Battle of LA.
That is a great question. Great question.
I think we have the same answer.
UF Pro.
Yeah. UF
You
Pro
can get
is
it
awesome.
at EVIC.
Yeah, you can get that at EVIC also. UF Pro is great. Now, this is not going to be a first-time airsoft buy because UF Pro is expensive. I will not lie about that. It's expensive, but it doesn't rip the first 3 times you use it like Cry sometimes does. And UF Pro has lots of ventilation all over built in. It has a lot of ventilation built in, and it has a lot of stretchy material built in, like in the butt and in the crotch and in the knees. So it just fits way better. And
it has more utility too. Like I can't really demonstrate it well without showing my legs, but it's got different sets of zippers for your cargo pocket. So if you're kneeling, you can still access your cargo pocket through a zipper. One of the best things about that uniform is in the combat shirt, the shoulders have built-in pads in the shirt. So like the weight is still there, but now you've got padding on your shoulder and then also padding on like maybe your plate carrier too. So it's just another layer of padding or comfort.
Yeah. So the padding in the shoulders is good for helping with the weight of your plate carrier, backpack, whatever else you're carrying on your back. You would be surprised like how much cushier it makes it. It's really nice. Okay, well, we've been streaming for 40 minutes, so I'm going to take a few more questions, and then we will be logging off here in the next 3 to 4 minutes. So if you have any super important questions, type really fast, because it's about time to go. Cataclysmic Nebula has asked this a couple times. What are both of your personal loadouts? We both have a lot of different loadouts, and it really just depends on where we're playing and what kind of style.
Do you have like a current? I have a current favorite one. Do you have like a current favorite one, like pieces of gear that like you really like using right now?
Well, I just got the new low profile plate carrier and chest rig from One Tigress, and I've been using that a lot, and I like it. And so I'm going to keep using it. I just want to see how durable it is. I can't say like that much about it yet because I've only had it for less than a month. I've only played in it like twice. But yeah, I'm just going with the One Tigress stuff because it's affordable. And so far it's pretty durable. So I'm digging that, and it's easily modified.
Okay.
What's yours?
My favorite as of last weekend actually was my UF Pro unit, my brown gray Ranger green.
Yeah, the UF Pro. UF Pro is definitely my favorite.
Whatever color
to wear.
That actually is that uniform with my Mayflower APC, and on the APC is the LBX. No. Yeah, the LBX Assaulters panel. The one with all the tacos on the front.
Yeah.
And then a dangler and my PTS helmet. So basically the loadout that I had last on at Wildlands. That's been my like go-to loadout lately.
I really like wearing a fanny pack. If you're not wearing a dangler, or if you're a boy, I recommend wearing a dangler or a fanny pack just because it protects your treasures. But also fanny packs are just handy for like carrying your phone or snacks. I like to carry a multi-tool. It's just a really great accessible pack to have that's not taking up valuable plate carrier space.
Yeah, I've been carrying a tornado grenade in mine.
How have we gotten so many patches? We've
just get them over the years.
Yeah, this is not even half of our patches, probably. Just people like giving us patches or patch trades. I mean, we've both been playing. Jet's been playing for almost 20 years. I've been playing for almost 8 years now. So We just collect patches, like everybody.
So this is 19. This year has been 19 years for me. So what should we do, everyone, for my 20 years of airsoft? Should we have a giant game? Should we have a giant festival? Should we have a private game?
Ooh, yeah. Oh, nice. Brickzy of the Dead donated $5. I'm going to answer this question, and then we're going to log off because we have been streaming for a while. Thank you, by the way, for your donation. That's awesome of you. He said he hasn't played Airsoft since Battle Lab grand opening because of shoulder surgery. Ouch. Tips for some new players to DFE and meeting new people. For meeting new people, if you're on Facebook, I really recommend joining. There's tons and tons of airsoft groups on Facebook. I would recommend joining any airsoft Facebook group. There's usually like SoCal groups. There's Bay Area Airsofters. There's North American Airsoft Community. Those are some pretty popular ones. We should definitely make a group for people coming to DFE, and that would be a great tool for people meeting each other.
I'm actually baffled, buffooned as to why we haven't done that already.
Yeah. We'll do that. Brickzy, we will make a Facebook group so that way you can meet more people that are going to be coming to DFE. So that way
we'll do a faction one too.
Yeah, and that way you can connect with more people that are going to be on your faction. That's social media is how I met everybody that I know through Airsoft. So that's what I recommend, just because that's what I've been using. So social media, Instagram. Try to comment a lot on other people's pages that you like or look up to, or if you think they have cool loadouts. What I've noticed in Airsoft is everybody's really welcoming because they want to get more people into it. So usually everybody's pretty friendly.
Yeah, that's the overlying message that we have at our games too.
Yeah.
Everyone's there to have fun and hopefully meet some fun new Airsoft friends.
Yes. And that concludes it. Laszlo Holyfield. Are you related to Evander Holyfield? Thank you for the $5. You're the best. Really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone else, for joining us for this live stream. Hope we were able to answer lots of questions. And if you're watching this later, let us know in the comments what you want us to talk about for the next live stream. All right. Until then, thanks for joining, everybody. And bye. You're number one.